it's 5:30.
Assuming I made it, I almost didn't. Yeah.
So welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting. This is March the 5th. The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges that it's located on Treaty 21 territory, and we are thankful to the generations of people who have taken care of this land, including the Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware Nation, First Nation, and the Oneida Nation of the Thames. I'll go to Saja for the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Sajal Asmad, and I'm the Acting Secretary-Treasurer for the Committee of Adjustment tonight. I will be hosting the meeting and managing participants. Committee members joining us this evening include Member Kumar, Member Vayan, Councillor Pelkman, Councillor Derbyshire, and Member Terpstra, who is also our Chair. Municipal staff in attendance this evening are Alyssa Soldo, Planner with the County of Middlesex, Jake DeRitter, Manager of Growth and Development, and Melanie from the Legal and Legislative Services team. Tonight we have 4 applications to be heard by the committee. The Chair will introduce each application and provide the applicant and agent an opportunity to speak to the application. The planner will follow with the report. The public will then be invited to make comments or ask questions about the application. The Chair will then call upon the committee to ask questions and make comments before the Chair calls for a vote on the application. Once a decision is made, there's a 20-day appeal period from the date of decision for minor variances and 20 days from date of notice of decision for consent. If anyone wishes to be notified of the decision, you can make a request today or make a written request following this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sajma. So I'm looking for an approval of our agenda. Dale, Steve, seconded by Steve, all in favor? Okay, that carries, that's our agenda. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, I'll move on. And I'm looking also for an approval of the minutes from last month. Ryan, seconded by Randeep. All in favor? And that carries. And we're moving right on to submissions for consideration. Our first one is an application for minor variance A2 2026 at 121 High Street here in Strathroy. Owner Justin Alves. I believe he's in the gallery tonight. There you are. Justin, I'm going to ask our committee members to give the report first, and then I'll come back to you. Okay? Okay, we're ready for that report.
Thank you, Chair. The minor variance application before committee this evening is seeking relief from section 4.25 of the zoning bylaw to permit an accessory building that is 6.12 meters in height, whereas a maximum height of 4.5 meters is permitted. The applicant is also seeking relief from section 4.65B of the zoning bylaw to permit a secondary suite that is 89.2 square meters in size, whereas a maximum size of 75 square meters is permitted. The subject property is located on the north side of High Street West, southwest of the intersection at Adelaide Street in Strathroy. The property is approximately 809.37 square meters in size, with 20 meters of frontage along High Street West. The property is connected to municipal services and contains a 2-story multi-unit dwelling. The applicant is proposing to build a secondary suite on the second floor of the proposed detached garage in the rear of the property. One comment was provided by a neighbor that they are concerned about the owner not living on the property and building this residential unit for financial purposes only, which may lead to issues if the property is not being looked after or taken care of. No comments were provided by agencies at this time of preparing the report. I reviewed the application against the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and as indicated in the report, it is staff's opinion that the application does meet the 4 tests. As such, I'm recommending that minor variance application A2 2026 be approved. Thank you.
Okay, Justin, your time for comments.
It's actually Quentin from Jarvis Design Firm.
Okay.
So I'm the agent on behalf of Justin.
Okay.
But yeah, I reviewed the report. The summary all sounds clear. No comments regarding that. I wasn't aware of the public comment, but as far as that with the owner not residing on the property, the existing is a duplex that's rented out, but I think the main goal here is to create another residential unit, which is the main drive here. But whether they plan to reside there in the future, I can't speak to that, but that's not the main focus, obviously. But open to any other questions or comments.
Good, thank you. First off, any other comments in the gallery? Yes? Good. I need you to state your name and just...
Ed Gibson, I live at 139 High Street.
Okay,
My concern is the red line in there represents an alleyway. And referencing this as a garage facility, I'm trying to understand whether there's an intent to utilize that alleyway as a parking space for the garage. I make regular access to my backyard via that alleyway, so I'm just trying to understand context of this addition in regards to blockage of that alleyway.
Quentin, do you ever reply to that?
As far as you said, the red line?
Well, the red line's actually on top of that alley. If you look at right, just on the other side of the green box you got on the diagram there, that is an alleyway that goes 3/4 of the way down High Street.
So you're asking if there's gonna be a garage door facing that alleyway?
And I'm not even concerned about a garage door facing the alleyway. I'm more concerned about a perception developed that that is a laneway, and therefore someone would be able to regularly park at that location, making it difficult for me to access my backyard down that alleyway.
I see, yeah, so we do actually have complete architectural drawings for it right now, owner approved. The overhead door will face the front, the street instead.
I suspected that, but I wanted to
Yes.
validate that.
Yeah, and I don't have at least any idea from them as far as if they were planning on parking in the back. But the parking will be accessed from front driveway only. From what I understand, they don't have any plan to park in the back or the laneway.
Okay. And again, they could use it just like any other
Sure.
roads. I was just more concerned about it becoming an obstruction to my access.
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay, good, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Gonna go to the committee members, any questions, comments, concerns? Steve?
I had the same concern about which side the garage door was gonna be on, and that's been answered now. Also, my concern was that if they ever did decide that they were gonna access that, I think we removed the fence to the park, did we not? Ed, when we did the park, did we not remove the fence, or is the fence still there?
The alleyway is still there when the fence was replaced at the park, so there is still.
So there is still a fence there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just concerned about if we start increasing traffic down that lane, do we need
Right.
to start protecting the kids that are at the park?
Okay. Any other comments, concerns? Then I'm looking for a recommendation. Steve,
I'll move the recommendation as proposed.
second for that. Randy, all in favor? And that carries. So our second one tonight is an application for consent. It's B for 2026. This is 6692 Longwoods Road. Owner is James and Susan Lumen, and they may be in our gallery today. Are the Lumens, Susan, in our gallery? Yes.
Yes.
Thought so. Okay. Okay, if I can go to the report.
Thank you, Chair. This application before committee is to execute a surplus farm dwelling severance where the owner is proposing to retain the farm parcel and sever the residential lot. The subject property is located on the northwest side of Longwoods Road, north of the community of Melbourne. The land as a whole is 17.12 hectares with 179 meters of frontage along Longwoods Road and 13 meters of frontage along Melbourne Road. The lands to be severed are 0.77 hectares with 77 meters of frontage along Longwoods Road, containing a single detached dwelling connected to municipal water services, in a private septic system, in a detached garage and garden shed to be kept with the residential use. There is also an existing barn shown on the lands to be severed, and due to the size and existing use, staff are recommending removal of this one accessory building. The lands to be retained are 16.35 hectares with 102 meters of frontage along Longwoods Road and 13 meters of frontage along Melbourne Road, containing lands for agricultural production. No comments were provided by the public prior to the development of this report. Provided agency comments include the Middlesex County Safety and Standards Officer providing 911 addressing comments, the Middlesex County Engineer providing county road dedication requirements, and Hydro One noting that they have no comments or concern. The Provincial Planning Statement, Middlesex County Official Plan, Strathroy-Caradoc Official Plan, and Zoning Bylaw all permit surplus farm dwelling severances when criteria is met. The lots will be required to be rezoned as a condition of the consent application. And given the above, I'm recommending approval of consent application B for 2026, subject to the conditions provided in the report. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Alyssa. Any comments from the Lumens?
We just have a comment about the barn coming down. So we are asking if the committee would consider allowing the barn to remain in the severed parcel. In our opinion, removing the barn would not provide any real planning benefit. Our farm operation does not rely on the building, and allowing it to remain would simply provide a usable accessory structure for the residential parcel. The structure would function as an accessory building to the residential use of the property, such as for a storage or a workshop. In rural areas like Strathroy-Caradoc, many people looking to move into a country property are also looking for parcels that already have an accessory buildings for those types of uses. The barn is still a good usable building. Requiring it to be demolished would create unnecessary cost and waste and sending a lot of material to landfill. Keeping the building, for those reasons, we are respectfully asking the committee to consider allowing the structure to remain with the severed parcel. We feel this is a reasonable request that would allow the property to function as a typical rural residential parcel while having no impact on the farm operation.
Okay, thank you for that. Comments from the committee? Yes, Steve.
Yes, I had already wondered why would we be asking for the barn to be torn down. The barn's been there forever, doesn't change anything. And I would agree that, you know, quite often when we have people in town that have too many toys on their property and we say, why don't you buy a property that's appropriate to store all those toys, and this would fit the bill. So I would disagree with the request to tear down the barn.
Okay, any other comments?
No, but I'll make the motion that we approve this with number 4 removed. And I would like just a simple explanation, once it's seconded, the step moving forward from our planners.
So looking for a seconder, so Steve. And Alyssa, I'm gonna go back to you.
Yes, through the chair. It's an explanation of the process. So this is surplus farm dwelling severance, so this is the consent portion, and then it would be going to council for the rezoning application. So if the barn was to be kept with the residential parcel, that would just require site-specific rezoning be requested to, as the accessory building lot coverage size would be exceeding, so that's the reason needed for the site-specific zoning. There is a chance that the rezoning application may also be recommending denial just based on exceeding the lot coverage for all this. So it's up to council to make the decision based on that. And if it were to go a different way, then it would need to go back to committee for change of conditions on the consent if it weren't to pass.
Okay,
All right.
so then the vote is all in favor? And that carries that way with number 4 removed.
Number 4 removed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to 5.3, which is an application for consent B3 2026 and minor variance A5 2026 at 408 Metcalf Street East in Strathroy. The owners is Linda Klinker and the agent is Jeff Klinker. Welcome, Jeff. So Alyssa, back go to you for the report on this one.
Thank you, Chair. The consent application before committee is seeking permission to convey a portion of the subject lands for the purposes of merging it with the adjacent lands being 31 Egerton Street through a consent for lot addition. A minor variance application was also submitted to seek relief from section 7.35 of the zoning bylaw to permit a rear yard depth of 6.4 meters, whereas 10 meters is required. This would recognize the reduced setback between the existing location of the multi-unit dwellings and the rear yard lot line due to this lot addition. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of the intersection at Metcalf Street East and Egerton Street in Strathroy. The property is 2,374 square meters in size, with 24 meters of frontage along Metcalf Street East and 65 meters of frontage along Egerton Street. The property currently contains 4 multi-unit dwellings on full municipal services and a detached garage. The lands to be conveyed are 22 square meters with 1 meter of frontage along Egerton Street. The applicant has advised the purpose of the lot addition is to provide a straighter property line between these two parcels, which would allow the property owner at 31 Egerton Street to build a detached garage in the future that is not irregularly shaped to meet that side yard setback provision. No comments were provided by the public or agencies prior to the development of this report. The provincial planning statement, Middlesex County official plan, Strathroy-Caradoc official plan, and zoning bylaw all permit minor boundary adjustments, and it will result in a more regularly shaped lot than what currently exists. And given the above, I'm recommending approval of consent application B3 2026, subject to the conditions provided in the report. And concerning the minor variance application, I have reviewed the application against the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and as indicated in the report, it is staff's opinion that this application does meet those 4 tests. As such, I'm recommending that minor variance application A5 2026 be approved to recognize the rear yard setback variance. Thank you.
Good, thank you for that. Jeff, do you have any comments? None? Committee members? Yes, Steve?
I'm all for straightening out lot lines.
Me too. That's good. Okay, then I'm looking for a recommendation. Steve, seconded by Randy. All in favor? Carries. Do we need 2 votes on this one? Yes, right, because one is the minor variance and now the consent. So I'm looking for a recommendation for the consent. Brian, supported by Dale. All in favor? And that carries. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Number 6, any announcement or inquiries by members? Other business, Jake?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just a really quick update on the appeal for 8524 Falcon Bridge. That's an application the committee heard a few months back for the creation of, I believe it was 2 or 3 lots there. The committee denied that application and the owner appealed to the OLT. The owner has since filed with the OLT to pause the appeal indefinitely. So not sure when we'll see this next, but for now there's no sort of date attached to the appeal right now. So it'll just sit there for the time being.
Okay, thank you. Any other business, anyone? No? And you see the schedule of meetings. I will be away on the next one, which we're aware of. Then I'm looking to close the meeting. Brian, or by Dale, all in favor? And we are adjourned, thank you.
Good job.